Hello and welcome to another video by Day Night Gaming. This video will be showcasing how to get infinite heals with Hunting Horn in the action RPG known as Monster Hunter Rise. Now before we begin, I want you to imagine a scenario where you and your buddies are playing Monster Hunter Rise. Regardless of skill level, regardless of how well you or your friends play, or any random player you meet on the internet plays, that while fighting apex monsters, everyone in your party has maximum uptime without having to worry about playing perfectly, without having to make sure you dodge every iframe. Imagine having infinite heals without using a single potion. Imagine that those heals are not just for you, but an AoE heal that can heal everyone within a very small radius around you. Does that sound too good to be true? Well, I'm here to tell you it's not. In fact, Capcom has given Hunting Horn the ability to do this in Monster Hunter Rise. The video you see before you is a clip fighting an Apex Azuros. And the great thing about this build is as long as your hunter friends do not get one-hit KO'd or two-hit comboed, you have the ability to heal everyone up and keep them all topped off at full. That's right. Today, we're going to be talking about Hunting Horn, and very specifically, we're going to be talking about the Rampage Hunting Horn. No more wasting resources on healing powders and dust to keep your teammates alive. No. It's as easy as attacking twice in a row. Today, you're not just a support player. Today you become a monster hunter god. Now, if you're already pro at this game, if you're already a big brain hunter, this video is probably not for you. Especially since this video will quite literally trivialize the game once you build this set. The game will be so easy that all you gotta do is button mash and go unga bunga on the monsters you fight. In fact, it allows everyone in your party to go full unga bunga caveman mode, even random players that you meet online. So once again, if you're already pro at this game, you probably don't need to see this video. But if you want to join the Unga Bunga Caveman Club and easily Hulk smash through all the Apex monsters in this game, then continue watching. Alright, so with all the hype and intro out of the way, I'm going to discuss how to make this happen. Now, if you've been watching the footage that I've been displaying up until this point, you've noticed that I've been getting hit quite often. And I did that on purpose because I wanted to showcase how easy it is to keep everyone healed, including yourself. So I purposely went full on Unga Bunga mode, and I threw caution out of the wind and attacked with reckless abandon. Now, if you don't know how to play Hunting Horn, don't worry. I barely know how to play Hunting Horn, as I haven't played Hunting Horn in past iterations. Don't worry, I'm going to showcase how to play this in easy mode. Now, if you look at the screen, underneath our health bars, you're going to see some musical notes, you're going to see some letters. Now, I play on the PC version, so I'm going to be using an Xbox controller. So if you're playing with a different type of controller or on a different system, the buttons may differ from what I'm displaying, but the overall gist of the playstyle should be the same. So if you look underneath those notes, you're going to see some words that say self-improvement, health recovery L, health regeneration, and earplugs L. What that means is if you look at health recovery L, right next to it there are two blue notes that have the letter Y inside of them. So whenever you attack in succession with Y as your combo, a heal will burst out with your Hunting Horn attacks. If you press BB in a row, then you'll activate health regen, which will slowly recover heals over time. If you press YB together at the same time twice in a row, you will give everyone around you earplugs large. Above self-improvement, right underneath our stamina bar, you'll notice that there's a button command that is right trigger plus Y. What that is once you've accumulated YY, BB, and YB, all those notes together, you can press right trigger plus Y to do a strong set of attacks that will also instantly play all those songs all at once. So it's very easy to keep everyone topped off. In fact, you don't even need to think about all that other stuff. As long as you don't get stunned in any way, if you're just mashing out YY, every couple seconds you're going to burst out an AoE heal to everyone in the immediate area around you. So not only are you constantly healing yourself, but you're constantly healing all your party members that are near you. Now, there is a short range to this, so if one of your teammates are hurt and they're very far off screen, they won't be getting the heal, so they do kind of need to be near you when you do this. But as long as everyone's around the monster, you should be able to keep everyone topped off. So like I just stated, attacking with YY basically shoots out that heal, which means you're not only attacking, but you're also healing at the same time. Now that's just the basic abridged version of how to play this. Of course, playing any weapon in this game can be more nuanced than just the basic overview, but this is the way this weapon works in a nutshell. So now I want to discuss how to put this all together. So we're going to be using the Rampage Hunting Horn very specifically. Now I don't want to show how to make this stuff because the monster parts in it will be a spoiler of sorts. So I'm trying to make this as spoiler free as possible. So just remember that you're going to be having to do rampages in order to make this weapon. And we're going to be making, like I said before, the Rampage Hunting Horn. Now, if you look at the slots, the top two, Sharpness Type 1 and Non-Elemental Boost, are nice, but they're not required. The only thing that really matters that you need to put on this weapon in the Rampage slot is Healing Melody 2. Now, if you do want to maximize and optimize the set, then you want to definitely eventually get Sharpness Type 1 and Non-Elemental Boost. But for now, just focus on Healing Melody 2. Now, if you look at the weapon itself, without any handicraft, there is a little bit of blue with Sharpness Type 1. Also, if you look at the melody effects, we have Health Recovery Large, Health Regeneration, and Earplugs Large. These are all very important skills. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when you put your gear together. Now I'm going to first show this without a talisman. Now remember, depending on the talisman that you have, you can definitely change these armor parts around and optimize because the talisman really dictates what you need. But bare bones without a talisman, I used the Channeler Hair Tie S, and that's because it has Razor Sharp level 2 with 1 empty slot. So that's really efficient because Razor Sharp takes 2 slots each, and there's 2 Razor Sharp levels there, so that's basically like having two slots for free. Next, we used Vike Mail S, and that's because it has a 3 slot, a 2 slot, and a 1 slot. It has no skills in it, but because of this armor is very customizable, and this will help you customize your set and put in skills that you might necessarily not have. Next, we're going to talk about the Sinister Gauntlet S. Now, these aren't required, but it is highly recommended that you get this piece because it has Handicraft level 2 and an open 2 slot. And Handicraft in itself takes 3 slot decorations, so having 2 of that is very efficient. And with that combined with Sharpness level 1 on the Rampage skill, you'll have White Sharpness bar, and that's really strong. So I do recommend getting it, but it's okay if you don't. For the waist, we have Raytheon Coil S, and this is nice because it has Recovery level 2 and an open 2 slot, and Recovery takes up level 2 decorations, so having that is really great. Next up is the Somnicath Greaves S, and that gives us Divine Blessing 2 and 2 open 1 slots, and that's really great because Divine Blessing also takes up level 2 decoration slots, so having 2 of that is very efficient. And what Divine Blessing is going to do is going to help us survive big hits. Now, it is a random chance, so it's not always going to reduce damage, but when it does, it makes things much easier. It's going to give you a lot more comfy breathing room to continue attacking. So now I'm going to go over the decorations that I slotted into the armor, and then after that I'll discuss why we're putting those in. So in the Channeler's Hair Tie S, we added a Brace Jewel 1. In the Vike Mail S, we added a Sharp Jewel 2, a Razor Jewel 2, and a Steadfast Jewel 1. In the Sinister Gauntlets S, we added a Sharp Jewel 2. In the Raytheon Coil S waist, we added a Medicine Jewel 2. And in the Somnicath Greaves S, we added a Steadfast Jewel 1 in the top slot and another Steadfast Jewel 1 in the bottom slot. So now I'm going to go over the skills that all of this gave. So at the top, you notice we have Razor Sharp level 3. After that, we have Recovery Up level 3. And we have Stun Resistance level 3. The most important skills on this list are Recovery Up and Stun Resistance. And Stun Resistance level 3 is very important because what this is going to do is it's going to prevent large hitting attacks or consecutive attack from stunning you. And you don't want to be stunned because that'll prevent you from being able to attack, which means it'll prevent you from healing. So when you combine Stun Resistance level 3 with Earplugs Large, both roars and stuns are going to be completely negated. Now this won't stop paralyze or sleep, so you want to also take those into account. And what Recovery Up 3 does is it's going to increase the amount of heals that your heals do whenever you activate them. These are very important. Next up are luxury skills, starting with Razor Sharp. What that does is it prevents your weapon from losing sharpness. Now, the reason why this is nice is because when you're sharpening, you can't be healing. You're stuck in the animation. So having this at level 3 means you're going to have to sharpen less. Hopefully you won't have to sharpen until the monster runs away from you. Next up is Handicraft. We've already discussed that, as it will increase your sharpness bar and give you some white sharpness bar, which is great. Then we're going to go into Protective Polish. Next up we have Protective Polish, and what this does is after you sharpen your weapon for a set duration of time, your weapon sharpness will not decrease. So for every level you'll have 30 seconds. We have level 2 Protective Polish, so you'll have 1 minute. So before you engage a monster, you can activate your whetstone and you'll get 60 seconds of Protective Polish. After that, whenever you attack, Razor Sharp will kick in, so you're gonna have a long period of time where you don't have to worry about sharpening. Next up we have Divine Blessing, and this is a comfy skill, and while it rarely activates, when it does, it will reduce your damage taken by 30% if you have it at level 2. So it's up to you if you actually want to have this skill, but you can definitely cut it if you wanted to. After that we have Spare Shot level 2, which does absolutely nothing for this build, as it's only for gunners, but it's a byproduct of equipping the Channeler's Hair Tie S or the Utushi Mask S, as it just has that and Wirebug Whisperer as well as Razor Sharp level 2. And then at the bottom you'll notice we're going to have Wide Range level 1. You don't really need it, but once again that's just free with the armor skills that we have. Now lastly I want to talk about Flinch Free. Now if you're playing multiplayer, it is required that you run at least level 1 of Flinch Free, because you don't want to be tripped by your fellow hunters while you're trying to go unga bunga, because that's going to interrupt your healing. But if you're going to be using this set solo, you can forego having Flinch Free at all on your set. And after that you're going to notice we have Wirebug Whisperer level 1 and Hellfire Cloak level 1. You do not need to socket these in. We got these free from our armor slots, so they're just added bonuses. But if you chose to use different armor, don't worry about adding these skills. They're not needed. So now I'm going to show you 2 different optimized sets that I have created. Now keep in mind that this includes my talismans that I personally have available. Now don't copy these necessarily, instead use them as a template on what you could do depending on what talismans you have. So as you can see here, I went for Razor Sharp 3, Protective Polish 3, Divine Blessing 3, Recovery Up 3, Stun Resistance 3, Speed Sharpening 3, because these are very easy to socket in because they're one socket, as well as Handicraft level 2, as well as Flinch Free level 1. Of course I want to have that when I play multiplayer. Now the talisman that I had for this, in case you're interested in knowing, is it was a Speed Sharpening level 2 with a Divine Blessing level 1 and a 2 slot and a 1 slot open. So in that 2 slot I put Protective Polish, and in the extra 1 slot I added another Speed Sharpening. Now once again, Speed Sharpening isn't really that important. Divine Blessing really isn't that important, so didn't really need to add it, but just a little bit extra. Now I'm going to show you what I used when I want to do more damage, and this is my attack setup. And the reason why I'm going to show you this is once I got used to playing Hunting Horn, I transitioned into a more aggressive playstyle. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that now. And as you can see here, I replaced my boots with a different boot, and that's the Ingot Greaves S, because I want it to be much more offensive. I'm going to show you that. So once again, I stuck with the Channeler Hair Tie S, the Velkmail S, the Sinister Gauntlet S, the Raytheon Coil S, and the Ingot Greaves S, and I changed my talisman. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all of that in a second, but just so you can see, the Ingot Greaves are really good because it has attack boost 2, it has critical eye 2, and it has an open slot for a 1 slot jewel. And my talisman was a Slugger 2 with stun resistance 1 and a 2 and a 1 slot. So I'm going to talk more about this in depth. So starting from the top, let's start with the Channeler Hair Tie S, and in that decoration slot I added a Steadfast Jewel 1. And then going to our Vikemail S, I used a Razor level 2 and an attack level 2, as well as another Steadfast level 1. Then going on to the Sinister Gauntlets S, the decoration I slotted into there was attack jewel level 2. And then in our Raytheon Coil S, I added a KO jewel 2. And then in the Ingot Greaves S, now this isn't very important, but it is a little bit more damage at a little quicker pace, and that's the Sonorous Jewel 2. That basically buffs up our shockwaves a little bit. So you don't really need to put it, but you know, if you have the slot, go for it. And in the talisman, I added a Medicine Jewel 2 and a Brace level 1. And the reason for that is I needed to get that last bit of recovery up, and of course I wanted to add that flinch free. So if you're going to copy this armor setup, you absolutely have to have Medicine 2 and flinch free. And then the rest is all gravy. So as you can see here, I wanted to go for attack boost 4 so I can get that percentage boost. And then I added Slugger so I can KO a bit more whenever I'm attacking on the head. And the rest is all pretty much the same. Recovery up 3, Stun Resistance 3. As you can see here, I don't have Divine Blessing because I just wanted to attack more. I still have Wide Range, Wirebug Whisper, and Hellfire Cloak. Those are just freebies from the armor. And as you can see here, I have Horn Maestro level 1. Once again, you don't need to have this. It adds just a little bit more shockwave damage. Also, it's important to note that for your Silkbind attack, you want to have Bead of Resonance set. And if you do not have that unlocked, in order to unlock it, you just need to craft 8 different hunting horns. So here we are at the training room. I'm going to show you how to play the basics for Hunting Horn. With your weapon sheathed or out, you can hit right trigger and that'll activate self-improvement, which will let you move a little bit faster and attack a little bit harder, which is great. You want to have these buffs up at all times. Now, if you want to drop your Silkbind attack, you hold left trigger and hit B. And that'll drop that little green orb on the floor, and it'll use, of course, a wire bug. And this is very powerful. Whenever you activate a song, it'll attack, and it'll also double up what you're doing. That even includes self-improvement, which is great. But the most important part is if you do YY, you will do health recovery. That's your heal. So you'll heal, and the bead will heal. Now, if you do BB, it'll activate health regeneration, which will slowly heal you and your party members over time that are nearby. And of course, the bead will do it as well. And then if you do Y plus B, that'll activate earplugs. Now, if you're just doing random regular attacks, the bead won't copy those. It only copies the songs that you do. And of course, if you copy self-improvement only affects you. It does not affect your teammates. So even though it does it twice, it only affects you. Now, if you've hot loaded all 3 of your songs, health recovery, health regeneration, and earplugs, you'll unlock something called Magnificent Trio Combo. And this is a very hard hitting attack, which is really nice. And it also plays all 3 of those songs, health recovery, health regen, and earplugs all at once, which is great. So as you can see here, I've activated Magnificent Trio by doing right trigger plus Y at the same time, and it does quite a large amount of damage for one attack, and the ability to quickly heal someone is really great. Now, if you do have Beat of Resonance active, it will also play all those songs at the same time as well, which is great. And if the boss moves, of course, you want to reposition yourself and drop a new resonance bead near it. That way, it always has an effect, because if you're far away from the bead won't play extra songs for you. Now, it's important to note that the health recovery from attacking with YY by itself is very small, but once you look at the armor skills recovery up, as well as the rampage skill on the weapon healing melody 2, and also doubling up with your beat of resonance, the heals start to become very, very impactful. And of course, you'll also have the health regeneration in the background slowly healing everybody as well. And with all of that all together, at the rate at which you're attacking, you're going to be healing very, very often. So it's very important to note that the set really shines when everything is in place. So every time the monster relocates, make sure to drop a beat of resonance in its location. Thank you, hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, consider hitting that thumbs up, hitting that subscribe button, and ringing that bell for future notifications on videos that I might be posting in the future. And in case you're interested in supporting the channel even more, I do have a merch website at streamlabs.com/DNGdangerous/merch. And until next time, take care, goodbye.